On last week's episode, Sebastian received a special stamp, eating one of the best burgers on the Camino, and returning to the big city, although it was quite intimidating. Welcome to episode 6 of my Camino Diaries. The aftermath of last night's festival. I really could hear all throughout. Good morning, by the way. It is Sunday, and today we are headed to Hornillos del Camino, and that's about roughly 22 kilometers, I think, or roughly 13-14 miles. Somewhat the same as yesterday, but hoping the terrain is a wee bit better than yesterday. I'm sure it will. We're just getting out of the city now. Hopefully gonna meet up with some of the gang in Hornillos, so we shall see. With it being a Sunday, it was quite pleasant leaving Burgos. And quite frankly, I was excited to get back into the nature side of things. You may have noticed each city has their own shell design, each one unique in its own way. And it's here we reach under 500 kilometers. Now this is a part of the journey that people decide to either skip these next few sections and skip ahead to either like Sahagun or Leon, and continue from there. We're actually approaching the Meseta, as they say, the time that you have a lot to yourself, the time of self-discovery, a lot of different things, because it's somewhat isolating, I guess you could say. So yeah, I mean, I understand why people want to kind of skip forward to slightly better parts, but I'm actually looking forward to it. So yeah, I don't believe we actually start today. It's when we leave Hornillos, which is tomorrow. So today is just like easing back into the scenery of nature, I guess you could say. It would be a while until I see another pilgrim. Skipping the first town and making my first stop at Rabe de la Calzada. Here I meet up with Sebastian and Sarah, and we visit a church where we receive something special. Pilgrims who visit this church are welcome to receive a medal and a blessing from the nuns who take care of it. The miraculous medal, or the Medal of Our Lady of Graces, was designed and originated from St. Catherine Labouré, following her apparitions of the Virgin Mary. As I walked around the church, I felt quite emotional, to the point of tears. Alright, we're just leaving Rabe de la Calzada. Met up with my awesome Camino family here, Sarah and Sebastian. We just went to the church, the Ermita de la Virgen de Monasterio. Got a bit emotional, sorry if I look kind of weird on camera right now. But we had a beautiful blessing from the nuns, and each of us got a little miraculous medal to take with us along with our journey. So that's what kind of makes the stay a little bit better. So now we'll be heading to Hornillos del Camino, which is another 10 kilometers away. Fantastic. We continue on, with not much further, to Hornillos del Camino. Alright, we made it to Hornillos del Camino. Rather early too, surprisingly. It's only 12:19. Still quiet out here. It's beautiful though. Here we are. We arrived to Hornillos with plenty of time to relax, take a siesta, or even grab an ice cream. We were able to attend the Pilgrim's Mass as well, where we had a little sing-along at the end. We returned to our albergue after the Mass, where we had a lovely pilgrim's meal. I'd have to say, this homemade paella, probably on my top 5. Followed by a glass of wine down at the local restaurant with a few pilgrim friends, old and new. Of course, we couldn't stay long, as we all know by now, we had a very early morning the next day. Good morning. It is May 27th, Monday, and Had a slightly earlier start today because we are reaching the Meseta, and just want to get a head start. It could be possibly warm today. It was warm the last couple days in terms of the afternoon, so the earlier we can sort of get to our albergue, the better we can just relax and chill. The mileage isn't as high today. I believe we're going about 13 miles, roughly 21 kilometers around there. And the Meseta is pretty much known to be flat of nothing. So that's gonna be quite a bit of that these next several days, and it is known to have the ability to test yourself mentally. The first phase being the first 2 weeks testing you physically, this next phase mentally, and part three is recovery and healing. So we're in phase 2. Looking forward to it. I think I already started my phase 2 yesterday when I unexpectedly got emotional at the church, but it was a welcome unexpected emotional moment that I was happy to share with a couple of my Camino family. So I'm not quite sure how much long to our first town stop, but hopefully we can maybe find a cafe breakfast 2.0. But look, moon's still out, and the sun's gonna be coming up over there behind us. And there's Sebastian.
Morning.
Sarah and Barb are a little bit ahead of us, but we're all gonna meet up in the same place anyway, so we'll see each other at our first stop, or depending how everything goes, to Castrojeriz. As we leave Hornillos, the mountainous climb has become slightly less. The one thing I love about walking during this time of season is all the fields are still green, slightly turning a lighter shade, but green, with a mix of wildflowers and many of the spring blooms. First stop, coffee. And seeing a pilgrim friend celebrating their birthday on the Camino. Backlit. Had ourselves finally our coffee for this morning, and feels good. Had a little bocadillo with jamon. Now we're headed to Castrojeriz. So it's probably another 6 miles, 10k till we get there. I don't think there's any other cities in between, so we have some snacks here and there. Stop when we need to for a rest, and then we're making good time. No rush. Although it is windy, pretty windy. A few miles from Castrojeriz is the ruins of the old San Anton Monastery, or the San Anton Monasterio. It was a pilgrim hospital that was run by the Antonine order. Now, it is just the ruins, but also a hostel. We made it to Castrojeriz. Castrojeriz. It's a bit of a hill to climb up, but it's okay. Beautiful views you see here. Not too bad of a day. Over 6 hours just to get here. You know, plus a couple breaks here and there. Not too bad, and it's pretty breezy the whole time, so that's great. Breezy and cool. The sun to come out a little bit, but not too bad. So now I just find my albergue for the night. Two nights in a row, bottom bunk. After the usual chores, I head out to meet with the Camino family. And to our surprise, we see a familiar face return. Cam and Buck would take a rest day in Burgos. Cam would continue on forward to Leon, and Buck would continue his walk to join us in Castrojeriz. A little afternoon siesta gathering with the gang, which is nice. I love seeing everyone. Gonna head back to the albergue for a little bit, maybe take a little baby nap and transfer some of my footage from today. But yeah, it's a lovely little quiet town. With not much places open, we all opted for, well, pizza and burgers. Pizza was alright, but eating with the Camino family made it better. It is also here we would say our goodbyes to a couple of friends going home to Ireland. Good morning. It is Tuesday the 28th. So far so good. Normally chill morning here, not as cold as the couple days ago, but enjoying it quite well. Left our albergue roughly before 6:30. So just as the sun is about to come out, which is right now, if you take a look at the mountains here from a distance. So yeah, overall yesterday was pretty good. You know, the walk was well. You know, Sebastian is still tending to his foot, and of course now the shin splint. So, but overall we made some good time yesterday, and got to rest a bit at the albergue. I didn't have anybody in the top bunk from me, so I slept pretty well. Used the earplugs just to block out any snorers out there. And today's destination is Fromista, which is roughly about 25 kilometers from Castrojeriz. Feeling all right. My feet's good, surprisingly. Of course, I always feel pretty well in the mornings, and then, you know, starts to ache towards the afternoon. But that's just been pretty much the norm in terms of my legs so far. Knock on wood. As you leave Castrojeriz, you climb up one last mountain before reaching the main section of the Meseta. Morning, Sebastian.
Good morning.
Caught up with him at the top of the mountain. When you reach the other side of the mountain, you are greeted with a view of fields as far as the eyes can see. One thing to remember about the Meseta is that shady areas are few and far in between. So be sure to stock up on sunscreen, hat, anything to protect you from the sun, especially if you go in the summer. Just past Itero de la Vega, had our first coffee of the day, which is roughly about 10k from Castrojeriz. It's pretty good. The bocadillo was good. Had some tomato and lettuce in there along with the ham and bread. Now headed our way towards Frómista. I think the next stopover is another 10k to Hornillos del Camino. Don't quote me on that. I'll know for sure the name in terms of when we get there, but that'll be our next pit stop before Frómista, which will be another 5k I think after that. So it's a good stoppage day in terms of breaks and stuff. So making good time. Saw a couple of the fam back there at the cafe. They've all moved ahead, so which is fine. That's the best part of the Camino. We're always not too far away from each other. Kathy from North Carolina, making her Camino.
Hello! Happy to be here. Happy to be with Jen.
Yep. Got Simon and Sebastian in the back there.
Yeah, exactly.
We had planned to stop at Hornillos del Camino, but unfortunately the cafe we saw was closed, so we did the next best thing. Sit next to the cafe and eat some of the snacks we had in our backpacks. Made it to Fromista. Pretty hot out right now, but it would be nice to have a warm shower, comfy bed, just kick our feet up and relax and have an ice cream later, right?
Yes, ice cream.
Ice cream. We arrived to Frómista around the time of the siesta, so pretty much you're limited to what you can do during that time. Okay, checked into my albergue for tonight. I booked myself a private room because today was a long mileage day, so needed to relax and just, be, I guess, by myself for tonight. Anyways, pretty good walk. There was that minor detour along the river, so that kind of added, I guess, in terms of kilometers, but it was good, especially reflecting on the last few days. We've entered the Meseta phase of this journey. So, and tomorrow will be officially the almost at the halfway point of the Camino, at least for me in my journey. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Really glad that I'm still here. I'm still able to walk, appreciative of every day, every morning. Really happy, I guess you could say. Just really happy. I met an amazing group of people who I'm proud to call my friends, my Camino family, and just to be able to go on this same journey with them, wherever their ending points and stopping points may be. My end point is in Santiago, so for this journey. But yeah, it's exciting. I get emotional now, so I'm gonna go get some ice cream. We do believe that tonight's dinner consisted of salmon and salad. It's quite exciting. And of course, can't forget the ice cream. On next week's episode, we continue on the Meseta, somehow finding the time to exercise, sort of, have myself my only short walking day, and reach the official halfway point of the Camino. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.